Shut up and sit down.
Round 15 of the ChampCar iRacing series takes us to one of my favorite tracks, and I think a really, really great track for this form of racing as well. It's Barber Motorsports Park outside of Birmingham, Alabama. Quite a new facility in the grand scheme of American road racing. Really follows the terrain, folds back in on itself to give you a lot of very interesting corners and a lot of challenge in a smaller area. And well, qualifying is getting underway right now before we head to our typical 1 hour race in the ChampCar iRacing series. And today's car of choice, the Chef Special Pontiac Solstice, like we had at VIR North a couple weeks ago. Interesting little machine, but they raced ever so closely a couple weeks ago. Last round, hope to get the same out of it tonight. I'm David Haynes. I'm joined by Devin Peters. And Devin, what are you hoping for here for round 15? They were fantastic at VIR North. Good grid ahead of us as well.
Yeah, it's a great big field today and a really tight grid. I'm noticing just how third place all the way back to about 13th right now is in the 46s, so ought to be some really good racing. And I think if I had one wish, I would wish for somebody to jump the turn at 7-8 and fly down that hill.
Yeah, a lot of interesting corners, plenty of elevation change, some blind apexes, which are difficult to get used to. A lot steeper learning curve, I think, here than some other, flatter circuits, or even go to several circuits that could be described as rovals, like Daytona. We weren't so long ago at Auto Club as well. Good sight lines, rather flat. None of those things are true of Barber Motorsports Park. And Devin, let's talk about the reasons people race in the ChampCar iRacing Series. One, it visits all of the circuits that all the circuits we visit are the circuits that the real ChampCar Endurance Series visits. So it's a great way to familiarize yourself with these great facilities that you can race in the real world at with ChampCar Endurance Series. But also there's some other motivations as well.
Yeah, I think you're burying the lead a little bit there, because the real incentive for these guys is the prize. First place on the season is going to earn an entry, as well as every other racer getting entered into a draw for another entry, regardless of where you place.
That is worth something as well. We've got quite a few drivers from Love Racing, and they've been practicing together. That's not the fastest way to qualify, bumping off each other, but Nicholas Love, Sean Saputra, Jacob Hiller, and others form out. So far, it's looking like a 25-car grid for tonight, which is not bad. That is quite decent, especially Barber, a little bit more compact than VIR North was, and some of the other tracks as well. So 25, a good number, I think.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, this is a track that's really, really tough to get right. Definitely built by some folks that know what they're doing when it comes to making a racetrack rather challenging to handle for any race car. And some fun race cars we have here today, indeed, with these Solstice buzzing their way around the track.
This track works great in Grand Am competition. Always great when IndyCar comes here, but then it also does seem to suit these slower cars, more production-based vehicles, as Nicholas Love will demonstrate the rallycross line out of the final sector. We'll see how many people commit that hard to the final corner in the race. And when ChampCar comes here, also puts on a great show. Seems to be a track that suits different speeds of vehicles, and that's not always true, because a circuit like Silverstone, for example, that suits Grand Prix equipment and top-level prototypes really wouldn't do quite as well with Pontiac Solstice and the like. It's a great character of this circuit that it suits all types of machinery, and we're expecting a good 1 hour race in front of us. Of course, a pit stop is going to be required by the amount of fuel. I've been hearing on the grapevine that we might see some fuel only stops. We might see some fuel and tire stops. So the race will be decided on track, but also in the pit lane.
Yeah, and we're just coming up to the end of qualifying here, and it looks like so far Justin Hall has been able to hold on to the top spot with that fast 45.5 that he put down a little bit earlier in the session before we tuned in. And he's closely followed by his teammate Alex Albert, who ran a 45.8, with Sean Saputra in the 8.88, rounding out the podium with a 46 flat.
That's a good effort from Sean Saputra. Looks like they've also got Charles Kowalczyk to make it a 4-love effort. Best I can see. Some of them given up on qualifying there, but Justin Hall at the top at the moment. Looking very much like it'll be difficult to topple him. So dedicated flag man gets some dust off the checkered flag as the technique goes.
He really is one of a kind the way he swings that thing around.
We all know a sportsman with a unique technique that stands out from the crowd. Barney is no different. He's waving that checkered flag on this session, and there's only a very, very small number of drivers out there potentially capable of improving. Justin Hall's not going to be one of them, though. He's going to practice his pit entry, as is going to be very important in the race.
Yeah, and a tricky pit entry this one is too, because you end up with a big speed differential heading into the second to last corner there. So important to have your markers picked out in advance. We'll see how many of our drivers have done that when it comes down to pit stop time.
Certainly we'll keep an eye on the figures. The way the fuel goes, they should be able to pit quite deep into the race, though. This is a lower fuel consumption track than some others because the straights are relatively short. You spend a lot of time in the corners, in the hairpins, in the flowing sections of the lap. And in about half a minute, we'll bring you the grid. Maybe even shorter, as everyone has called time on qualifying. We can lock it in and tell you the starting order for round 15 of the ChampCar iRacing series from Barber Motorsports Park. Your front row is going to be Justin Hall and Alex Albert. Behind them, Sean Saputra, Simon Foweather, Nicholas Love, and Chris Knisley, row 3. Tim Trahan, bit of a new name there, but making a splash in 7th place. And in 8th, it's Jonathan Patterson. And then Jacob Hiller, Corey Barrett round out the top 10.
But a deep field we have tonight. So Aaron Thorpe's in 11th place, Jay Sofianek lining up in 12th, David Palermo in 13th, and all these drivers all within a second of that leading time. So ought to be some real tight racing in that group. And then another kind of concentration of racers here around 47 seconds. Neil Hancock, Andrew Cossack, Kevin Robinson, Scott Grinnell, Clinton Ford, Greg Vandevert, Charles Kowalczyk, and David Warden. And then a few more drivers, Jeff Pritchard, Danny Robinson, Rob Craig, and Rachel Cossack, the second of the Cossacks in this race. So a very full grid tonight. And as you mentioned, this is a little bit short of a track, and it's actually a track where going offline is really going to cost you some time. So managing traffic, I suspect, will be a significant concern during our 1 hour event today.
Certainly could be. Figures that I've got, how long do they say the lap is around here? Underneath 2.5 miles. So definitely, for that being the full layout of the circuit, that's even shorter than Mid-Ohio, which you typically think of as not being the longest track out there. So we're going to get the full pace lap behind a very, very capable Porsche GT3 safety car. Many a real champ car racer could dream of that, when they're sat behind Bill Strong's Volkswagen Touareg.
Yeah,
You and I had
these,
the great pleasure of the Corvette pace car at Indianapolis. We got the full treatment that weekend.
yeah, we were spoiled, but I think our fans will enjoy these. Solstice is trying to keep up with this Porsche because it likes to hustle its way around here pretty good. And I got to say, we probably owe a shout out to any of the folks that attend this race in real world Champ Car competition, because this is also the site of several snow races, which is a rare event on the Champ Car calendar, but one that they've managed to have happen out here before. It's always an adventure at Barber.
Yeah, this is very much in the Doc Waldrop, Tiffany Alexander territory part of the USA. We are on their territory, I think. And of course, we've got some good friends down here as well, don't we?
It's not quite as cold as it is up here, but it gets chilly when they come in the off season.
Yeah, certainly does.
And as you mentioned, a couple teams represented in the front. You can see the matching huge ass cars leading the field, and behind them the two love cars, 2 of the 4, I believe we said in the race, and then a couple independent guys too. The 21 running that STP sponsored livery looks real good, and then a PBR sponsored car behind him too. So some fun paint jobs up at the front.
Yeah, indeed. Some team liveries there, like for HJ and Love Racing, and some are just grab something that looked interesting off trading paints that sets you apart, and that is never a bad strategy for this to make you easily spotted. Porsche Museum and Porsche driving experience at this track as well. Probably makes it quite well known amongst the rear-engine flat 6 enthusiasts like our pace car driver.
But it's time to jump back up to the front of the field, because I think this pace car is about to pull off.
Sure is. Has done now. Justin Hall, Alex Albert alongside for the race start. Still 2 corners after pitting in before we get to the main straight. And they're putting the power down now with a green flag. That's a good jump from Justin Hall, and Sean Saputra, Nicholas Love are going to follow in line and jump up into 3rd and 4th as they jump into turn 1 now. Tyres cold. Clean start from everyone in the top 4 or 5. Leads them through the very carousel-esque double right-hand apex. And up over the hill, down towards the spider and a hairpin, which is going to be one of our best overtaking opportunities. Maybe after turn 1. It's a big braking zone, immediately downhill, carry the speed through it.
Yeah, and this one, it just dares you to brake later and later, so it'll be a prime passing opportunity through this race.
Certainly will be our top 3 on the grid in the order that they started, but behind that, the traffic always more ferocious, more positions made.
Remarkably clean race, I got to say so, though, so far. Everyone's really managed to file it out and keep it in mind that it's an hour long. We got the 1-8, looks like the 18 car making a move here on Jonathan Patterson in the 63.
Yeah, it looks like Jacob Hiller went and grabbed a spot from Chris Knisley. That's put Knisley a little bit offline. And then the next car behind is Jonathan Patterson. Knisley on the attack once again, though, on the rebound at Jacob Hiller, who's been one of the big movers in the first lap, up 2 positions, so must have had a good start. Then managed to scare Chris Knisley a little bit through the back straight S's. No breakaway at the front of the field, though, as Justin Hall, Alex Albert, Sean Saputra, and Nick Love continue to just string out a little bit, but not bolt away from the top 3 or the rest of the pack. Alex Albert was, I'm not going to say frustrated with being out-qualified by Justin Hall, but in the spirit of friendly competition, he wanted to have that fastest time in qualifying. Now in the race, not letting his friend and teammate get away, only 3-4 tenths of a second in it. And with the average speed that these cars do, that looks a lot closer because in some other types of machinery, 3 tenths of a second might be 5 car lengths. In these, 3 tenths of a second is 1 car length.
And these two are real quick sim racers, north of 3,500 I rating. So they really know their way around this sim, and they're going to push each other to the limits out at the front. They're already starting to build up a little gap to the two Love Racing guys that are behind them.
Yeah, not a huge margin, but just a little bit. Not as close as it is between first and second.
And not as close as it's looking to be down in the middle of the pack with Neil Hancock.
Oh, David Palermo in the number 7.
And we just saw that tail
off the circuit.
Yeah, tail slapper on the exit of the last corner, and that car was
right loaded too. It would not let it sit down at all. So he went wide in the final corner, tried to rejoin, keeping the throttle pinned, and it just did not work. For David Palermo, nasty little accident for him. Put a lot of damage on the car and put paid to some of his hopes very early.
Yeah, but that's really what this track is. You think there's some lap time somewhere, and you get in it 5 feet earlier than the last time you went around, and all of a sudden you're touching the grass and getting sketchy on the exit.
Right, easy to do turn 1, easy to do some of the S's along the back straight. Easy to do where our leaders are now towards the museum, where you've got those 3 apexes and you really want to throw the car in there and brake late. If you push a bit wide, you can get yourself into some troubles.
Single file racing, but it looks like they're going to be coming up on a little bit of lap traffic here shortly.
Yeah, David Warden had to make an early pit stop, but other than him, not a lot to speak of for traffic just yet. It's quite a short lap around here, as we've emphasized, so it will be a bigger issue. And also it being a little difficult to pass around here. I mean, you compare it to other places we've been earlier in the year, like Daytona, for example. Lap traffic is always going to be a bigger problem here than with the wide open speeds of Daytona International Speedway road course.
Justin Hall's gotten a heck of a run out of the last corner there. Got himself a little bit of breathing room. And if Sean Saputra starts putting pressure on Alex, he might get his dream and break away here. I know that he was pretty pumped up about putting a time faster than Alex in. That's pretty if this was an Xbox, that would be achievement unlocked. So
yeah, and I tell you what, these two love cars of Saputra and the man himself, Nicholas Love, are no shrinking violets at this point in the race either. It's a couple laps in. They are still right with Hall and Albert, waiting to strike. Is it now possible that Saputra is holding up his team owner at the moment? It's like Sunset Bend there. You never get exactly the right line, exactly the right path, the right bounce across the curbs to carry all the speed that is possible. You really got to hold just a little bit in reserve, which the racing driver spirit doesn't like to do. It likes to give everything at every opportunity.
I'm watching a little further back in the field as Chris nicely makes a move. Number 13 car makes a move up the inside of the number 18 of Jacob Hillier. Of course, switches back and he tries the crossover. We'll see if he's got anything heading down into turn 1.
They are going to be about door-to-door, nose-to-nose equal, but Chris Knisley has the inside and Jacob Hiller realizes it's a long race and there's a long way to go. And that lets Chris Knisley back into 7th.
Uh-oh, and we've got a car off the track just ahead of them. That's David Warden. Oh, and he has a spin. Ooh, hard race day for David Warden.
Exactly, early stop now, and car's going to have to tow again, and the repairs will presumably be much more lengthy this time.
Oh, and another damaged car rolling around slowly. Neil Hancock in the 56. It looks like he must have gotten into something somewhere because that car is smoking badly as he rolls into the churn, commonly referred to around here as Charlotte's Web. And yep, that motor is expired. He'll be towing back to the pits. And we're watching the replay. It looks like gets wides on the last turn, and yeah, same as we saw before. Tag slapper into that outside wall. Ouch.
On live pictures, been a little bit of a bump draft for the lead. Alex Albert letting Justin Hall know he's there, and maybe, just maybe, trying to work to get away from the 2 pursuing Love Racing cars who are not quite as close as they were a lap and a little bit ago. Still very, very much in the picture in a race like this.
Speaking of Love Racing, Jacob Hiller's just had all 4 off going into turn number 14. Lost a few positions on that. But he got himself back on the broadcast, so I could say his name right this time.
A season-long struggle for the driver and for Devin Peters. But it all comes good in the end. And what a little battle he is in. Might have lost out a little bit, given away a position to Corey Barrett. And now got Jonathan Patterson, Aaron Thorpe, Jay Sofianek pursuing him. Did see some big sends, some dive bombs, some attempts at a pass here, and another one is on. Hiller sees that one going, crosses back underneath. Jonathan Patterson, I award your bravery, but lick the stamp twice next time because that one did not stick.
Like I said, that corner just invites you to try and brake later, but you definitely have to have the mirrors in full view if you're in a battle, because your opponent is definitely going to go long if they miss that braking point.
Yeah, that was actually very, very clever from Jacob Hiller. I applaud that. Did not panic, didn't try to cover it off. Just backed his own instinct of where the braking point should be, and his fastest line through that corner. Didn't get tangled up. It's good work. That's clever racecraft, even if it's not absolute pace out of Jacob Hiller. You always got to applaud just clever positioning and racecraft.
Yeah, absolutely. Been remarkably quiet in the top 10 though. Like, I'm just looking at our timing screens and almost no one's moved to any positions. Everyone's running really, really consistent so far. I'm watching the 63 down the front straightaway. Aaron Thorpe in the 22 behind him is trying to take a little look, but hasn't found the right opportunity just yet. But definitely some pressure there. And Jay Sofianek right behind them too, looking to make it a 3-car battle.
A victim of his own ambition on some of this one for Jonathan Patterson. Tried to have the look at the inside of the final corner, which is unconventional. That kind of cost him his run down the pit straight and did expose him a little bit to Aaron Thorpe, who in the end was unsuccessful. So the longer we go into this race, they start to fan out a little bit, but we still keep 4 or 5 cars for the lead pack. And behind Corey Barrett here, they are also quite densely packed, as you can see from the onboards from Jonathan Patterson and other angles. Really equal in this just mid-pack bit here, which is great to see.
Well, and as our viewers will have certainly noticed, the headlights are on. This race is heading towards sunset, so it's going to get a little dark. David Warden's staying out of the way on the right-hand side of the track. So he's back out on track and circulating again. To get that entry into the draw for the entry into a Champ Car event, you do have to complete 50% of the laps. So I imagine he's circulating around in hopes of meeting that threshold. And Jacob Hiller runs a little wide. That 13-14 complex is causing him some troubles. But he manages to hold position, and he's still got his sights set on Corey Barrett ahead of him in that red car.
Yeah, towards the end, one of those blind corners at the end of the lap. Really got to know what the right line to be on is and believe in yourself that you're on it to carry the speed. 18-volt Corey Barrett at the moment, uncharacteristically unflappable in 18th.
That's because he's in 18th place. It goes with the nickname, you see.
He's a bit further up than 18th.
Oh, you're right. 10th place. I meshed the 10th place start and the 8th place, 8th place current position together in my brain. And he's actually our biggest position gainer since the start of the race series. He's made up 2 whole positions, which has been hard to do in this top 10.
Yeah, indeed. Now into this back section of the lap. Turned in a little bit late for the first apex. Got a good apex after that, but you can see Jacob Hiller is just more confident through here. He's been practicing with his teammates of Sean Saputra, Nick Love, et al. He's just more confident through the blind sections. But then around the rest of the lap, there are definitely places where Corey Barrett maybe carries a little bit more speed.
Now I'm watching back up at the front again, and Simon Foweather is suddenly getting very big in the mirrors of Sean Saputra and Nicholas Love, who are now side by side heading down to that turn 5 complex. Nicholas Love lining up the move on the outside. We'll see how this goes, teammate on teammate. And it looks like Love has decided to give his driver a little bit of room to work. Oh, no, wait, it's just an over-under. And he's taking that move towards turn 7, 8, 9 down the hill.
One of these drivers is going to have to yield or it's not going to look pretty. And it's going to be Sean Saputra. Just enough momentum from Nick Love there to get around the outside, bounce across some of the curbs. They've given away a little bit of time to Justin Hall and Alex Albert, but great little battle between the teammates. And as you say, Simon Foweather still with them, still right in the picture there.
Mm-hmm. But Alex and Justin have now got that 8-9 car length gap, maybe even less than that, but a gap certainly. And we'll see if they can continue to stretch that as we get deeper into this race. Quarter the way through.
Ambitious move again between the teammates. And Sean Saputra has a dig at Nick Love, but couldn't get down the inside there. Took the shallower entry rather than tracking it all the way out wide. That might have surprised number 10, Nick Love. It's just continue to cost these 3 time. Suddenly it's looking like 2 at the lead, 3 for third.
And as we watch this, I'm really reminded, this is such a brilliant track. I mean, it's so wide. There's so many right ways, but there's so many wrong ways to go around it too. And so you can always find a little edge at different parts of the corner as these guys continue on their battle. Saputra going a little bit deep that time. I'd say that's one of the wrong ways around that corner.
Some big hoppable curbs as well that you've got to use, especially at the segment that they're coming up to now. Diamond straight across, especially that curb on the left-hand side. Whatever the car is, you see people using quite a bit of that section of curb, be it right here, right now, or IndyCar. Even those machines need to hop across the curb, straighten up the entry to the corner so that they get more drive off it. Nothing in the gap at the lead, though.
Yeah, and out of the corner of my eye, I'm keeping an eye on that battle. And, we've seen this before. Alex Albert likes to run in second place for the first segment of these races, trying to save a little bit of fuel and shorten up that pit stop. And I can't help but wonder if we're going to see that pattern repeat itself again, with Justin Hall leading the way and seemingly not able to break away from Alex Albert at this point.
You think he's playing Justin like a fiddle?
Oh, he might be, but we'll have to see what it looks like in about half an hour here.
So far, it doesn't look like we've had anyone come to pit lane for the pit stop that wasn't their hand being forced by damage. But speaking about forcing the hand, Alex Albert side by side for the lead. He's got his nose in front, but that is going to be around the outside at the hairpin. Can he make that work? He gets on the brakes a little bit earlier. Tries to come around the outside. Don't think that's quite optimal.
And it looked to me like he was looking for the opportunity to make the switchback, but Justin Hall just drove that line perfectly and did not give Alex a chance. Maybe Alex is listening to the broadcast and trying to show me what for. He's faster than Justin, right?
Facts will speak for themselves at the end of the race, I think. But Nick Love, when he strings a good lap together, it's not bad. He's actually closed these two on the previous lap, and then the first half of this lap, and also the fastest lap of the race belongs to Sean Saputra in fourth. So they can string a quick lap together for sure, those two. Are they consistent enough, patient enough, wily enough, wise enough to outfox Hall and Albert? If first and second keep battling, then that is not going to hurt them at all.
Yeah, and these cars, the tire management is, well, it's a little bit unique. I mean, running these 180 tread wear, I mean, I don't know that's what they actually are, but tires not unlike what we run in ChampCar. They tend to be more heat limited than they are anything else. So if you put in a really fast lap, you can overheat them and pay the price on the next lap. So I wonder if Justin and Alex battling is costing them some overall grip and some overall pace, in addition to the normal stuff you get from running offline.
Unflappable Corey Barrett has been flapped. Jacob Hiller has his nose in front. He's down the inside to the hairpin. Jonathan Patterson looks eagerly on. Barrett decides he wants to outbrake around the outside, and that doesn't work, but he does cross back to a late apex. That's going to stop him from being utterly swamped. Jacob Hiller has about wrapped up 7th place there. That is a definitive move. Not one that leaves him open to counter-attack.
I'm looking at the 13 car, Chris Nicely, and 13 might have been an accurate choice of number because I'm not sure what's happened, but the front of that car is real bent, and he appears to be down some top-end speed. I'm going back to see if I can find exactly what happened out, but yeah, he's paying the price. After a good qualifying effort, he's starting to fall down the order. It looks like he got, yeah, it looks like he locked it up a little bit on the way into turn 1 and just hit that wall on the exit of turn number 1. Yeah, he hit the protection wall on the exit of turn 1. Oof, that's tough. But that car is going to have a lot of extra tow, and it's going to be a little slower than it was before.
Well, he's coming onto pit lane right now. He's going to get that fixed. Probably just go the early stop. I don't think it's all over. If it moves, and it shouldn't, the answer is, in fact, more tape, not WD-40. But if it doesn't move and it should, then WD-40 might be the answer. So Chris Nicely is going to get that repaired. He's going to take some fuel. Is he also going to take some tires? He's going to overshoot his pit box while he's at it.
I must add some WD-40 on the tires for that one. And
Will
he
be
is
some new-
replacing the tires, so sure enough, it must have been the WD.
That is what you call full service. New bumper, some fuel, tires go on. He gets out and away. We'll see. Chris Knisley started 6th on the grid. Maybe undercut some of those competitors, earned back some of the time that he lost.
Oh boy, and I'm on board with the front. Sean Saputra just put all 4 tires off, following what looked like Justin Hall, who put 2 off on the entry into 13 there. But this battle back at the front has gotten close again. Oh no, and Sean Saputra is struggling to keep up all of a sudden. Slid his way through the last corner, and he's a long way back. He'll be hoping that his teammate Nicholas Love can make some chaos up at the front there and slow those guys down. Otherwise, he's going to be running a lonely race here shortly.
If you're wondering what sort of team owner he is, looks like Nick Love is lead by example, because he's left all of his teammates and his co-drivers in the dust, and he is sticking with the lead battle, which now changes up. Alex Albert down the inside this time to the hairpin. Him and Justin Hall a little early on the brakes. Let's Love close some car lengths. 3 Solstice within 3 Solstice lengths for the lead. Albert kind of wants to just go down the middle of the road, leave him the opportunity to cover off the inside without super compromising his line.
And fans of the Pontiac Solstice will perhaps be a little underwhelmed by the performance. These, of course, are the stock models, the baseline models, not the GXP models that came with the turbo. So the draft in these cars is really important, and that's why you see these guys just really tucking it up underneath the bumper of the guy in front. Speaking of Love Racing, Corey Barrett has just overtaken Jacob Hiller, who's taken a very exciting line out of turn number 7 there. All 4 tires in the grass for a long time.
And right behind them, little problems.
Hasn't lost too much.
Chase Safirnak, who loses out to Aaron Thorpe and Kevin Robinson. So you're between about 7th and 14th, all action, all on, which is great. We love a good lead battle, but we also love to see everyone who turns up get something for their price of admission, get a little bit of a racing, have someone of a similar speed they can go back and forth with, and use as a benchmark to learn from and improve against.
Yeah, that's the real beauty of the ChampCar series. You know, such low barrier to entry. You get all levels of experience, and you know there's always someone on track to battle with. You know, and you'll find them.
It was great when there's someone around about your speed you can compare yourself to, learn from, maybe grow with, and see both of you improve as time goes along.
Now, Rob Craig in the 17 car is dealing with a real calamity here. He looked like he got loose on the exit of 14, slid his way in 15 and parked it on the inside of the curb there. So that's kind of affected him. He is running currently in 19th place, 5-place improvement over where he started, but incidents like that won't keep him ahead of Chris Knisley in that WD-40 car for very long.
So you imagine that one's going to close up. Like the battle remains close at the front, close for 4th, close around Corey Barrett as well. Where should we look?
I think Simon Foweather might have something for Sean Saputra here. Even before the little problems he had, Simon Foweather's been lapping just a little bit quicker, and Foweather's running wide.
How's the rejoin?
Saputra's running wide.
Pushes out very wide. Simon Foweather still goes around the outside. The pressure's started to get to him as he's been losing focus through this race. Simon Foweather grabs the position. Sean Saputra, from running with the leaders, is now back to 5th.
And back on the hill racing, Jacob Hiller's making a move, trying to get around Jonathan Patterson in that 63 car. He had the position on the way into turn number 2, but gave it up, and he's making a move here under brakes, and he gets the spot back from Jonathan Patterson. See if he can close the door. Not quite, and Jonathan Patterson's taking that move up the outside again. Love this track. So many opportunities for that crossover move to work.
Amount of overlap.
We'll see who has the preferred line.
Yeah, amount of overlap. Ugly, and wow, Jacob Hiller just manages to scare Jonathan Patterson. I think Patterson maybe could have gone for that one. It was sort of front tire to rear tire. Patterson had his nose in front.
Oh boy! And back at the front, there's a change for position there. That's Alex Albert, who was just overtaken by Nicholas Love, and now takes the spot back. And meanwhile, they're giving up some time to Justin Hall, which seems like a dangerous thing to do.
Well, Albert was the leader at the start of this lap, and then sort of dropped back to third almost. Now gotten second, back under control, but we're a lap away from the halfway point. Suddenly, no one's had a lead bigger than 1 second all race long, except for now. It's Justin Hall, which is interesting to see.
And you know what? And I've gone back and figured it out. Last time by, Alex Albert had the lead, but lost the position because he had a slow down penalty from cutting the corner at that S. So, like I wished at the start of the race, we got to see someone take the jump. Not too much air, luckily for Alex's suspension, but cost him some serious time. And those slow down penalties are no joke in iRacing.
Depends what car you're in as well. In these, where it tries to calculate how much time you might have gained, it's very, very, very painful to give up your momentum in a car like this.
If I'm Alex Albert, though, I'm not too flustered. Justin is still only 1 second ahead, and I'm seeing off in the distance another few cars starting to line up that Justin Hall's going to have to get around. And always tougher when you're the first guy trying to pass the lap traffic rather than the second or third guy.
I do wish some of these cars with sort of the road car based headlights, iRacing would give us the ability to use the turn signal indicators and flash the headlights, because no doubt in these, from the driver's position, you can see the light stalk.
Rachel Kosick decides to give the leaders a lot of room, slides off track there, comes to a stop, and rejoins nice and safely once everyone's passed.
Job well done. You're not able on iRacing to flash the headlights in these cars much as you might like to in some circumstances.
Yeah. I haven't read the rules in a minute around the headlights. I wonder if flashing headlights are allowed. Seems like a good time to me.
You can get all sorts of programmable LED stuff, especially for Miatas or anything that shares the same dimension of circular headlights, like Jeeps and other Watsits. A lot of them questionably road legal, especially with some of the functions you can get from these programmable LED units, but entertaining. If you're gonna have a little disco dance in your garage, then, well, I'm sure that's not breaking the law.
Surely not. But
or in the paddock. Depends.
Yeah, and we've crossed over the halfway point here now, and so you can see the lights are really starting to become a factor. So, I wonder if these guys are starting to be affected by the incoming darkness here. Definitely a different looking track. And a big factor, the darkness of a track like this, as we see Justin Hall dive for the pits, and he's not followed by either of the other two in the leading pack there. So all alone, Justin Hall. Let's see if this was worth it.
It's tough to react to someone doing that at this track as well, because he's on the racing line, then boom, he's in the pit lane. It's not like some other tracks, so it's very obvious from early on that someone is going for the pit lane. He really looks like he got in a little deep, and then boom, he was in the pit lane.
Yeah, and if you don't have your pit box set up right away, then or your pit road setting set up, then you can't make that choice at the last second. And Alex Albert and Nick Love both going longer than him. I wonder, Nicholas Love was behind Simon Fullweather for a while. Maybe he managed to save him, behind Sean Saputra for a while. Maybe he managed to save some fuel, and same goes for Alex. And speaking of Sean Saputra, it looks like Simon Fullweather's gotten ahead of him. Oh no, we saw that pass a while ago, but he's built up a bit of a gap now. So top 5 as it stands: Alex Albert, Nicholas Love, Simon Fullweather, and Justin Hall at the line, but I suspect he's dropped a little further back than that after his service.
He wasn't alone. Kevin Robertson, Andrew Cosick, Clinton Ford, and others join him on the lane. So I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of this lap and the next, we see quite a lot more cars might be reaching the end of the fuel run. And also anyone who thought they were going to take tires, you don't really want to leave it too late. If you can get a bit more grip from a new set of tires, even if only for a lap or two, you probably want to go, arrange an undercut if you can.
And I'm watching Jonathan Patterson making moves on Corey Barrett here, trying anyway. Real tight through the turn number 7 last time by, and looking for his opportunity here as they come by the pit entry again.
Putra on the lane, Alex and Nick Love continue.
We'll stay down.
Yeah, Corey Barrett and others. Whoa. So Corey Barrett knows where the pit lane speed starts. Jacob Hiller doesn't, but you can't really pass in that very narrow entry. That's cost these guys a lot of time. That's why you practice your pit entry.
Yeah. And you always got to find that pit lane speed cone. The real world too. And Corey Barrett misses his box.
That's a theme of the evening, isn't it? Very popular thing to do.
This pit lane and this front straightaway are a little bit downhill, and I think that's catching some people out. This time by, though, Justin Hall's all the way down in 12th place with a couple cars just ahead of him that he'll have to clear to make this pit stop work. Not what you want to see, though, when you come out of the pits is lap traffic in front of you. And Alex Albert and Nick Love coming back up to the pit lane entry here. Let's see if either of them is going to dive onto pit road this time by.
Definitely something to keep an eye out for with just about 25 minutes to go.
Neither of them opts for it.
What's very critical, though, is that Sean Saputra has taken his pit stop, come out noticeably ahead of Justin Hall. 10 seconds ahead of Justin Hall. That's big. Justin Hall's lost a handful of time somewhere then.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he lost that much time. But on the subject of Love Racing, Charles Kowalczyk, who appeared to be learning his way around this track, has tragically had his race end in the 161 car. It looked like on his way into turn number 5 there, he downshifted a little aggressively and blew that car up. So he's headed back to the pits, and his day is going to be delayed somewhat by a tow and a fast repair.
Trying to get to the bottom of this mystery of where the time has gone for all of us in life,
way,
but also for Justin Hall.
Oh, and that tank slapper, man. It's caught a few people out, and it caught him out, trying to push and make some time. And unfortunately, it looks like he might have had that fast repair checked at the first pit stop, because this repair seems to be happening in real time.
Catastrophe for Justin Hall, it has to be said. He was very, very delighted to qualify on pole, but it is all slipping away from him now as it keeps getting darker for him. It gets darker on the circuit. Alex Albert continues, but you have to think, the more the headlights are required, the darker it gets, the tougher those blind apex corners become. They're difficult enough during the day.
Yeah, and the leaders are also racing through some lap traffic that's taking different lines than them for sure. Rob Craig's still learning his way around the last few corners of this track. Gave Alex a little bit of a scare as they were heading through the last turn there. But Alex Albert able to build up a bit of a gap over Nick Love. So we'll have to see if Nick Love has anything for Alex Albert now that Alex is unimpeded by racing and other concerns with his teammate.
It's a very small number of drivers who are yet to pit. It's Albert, Love, Patterson, and Scott Grinnell. Very quick stop from Simon Foweather, has gone fuel only, I think, there, and he's rejoined the race in front of Sean Saputra and everyone else who has pitted. So is Alex Albert going to be aware of that? Is he going to react to that? Because if he goes tyres, might even rejoin the race behind Simon Foweather.
Foweather's got to clear this lap traffic clean. He gets by the first one, and he'll be lining up the second one into turn number 7 here. But I mean, every turn at this track is a little bit dangerous. So let's see if he can get through clean. And Costa gives him lots of room.
Meanwhile, I watch our leader come down pit lane, so all will be answered very shortly. Alex Albert really attacks the pit entry far more than we saw from Hiller and some others.
And it was out of shot there, but Nicholas Love saw what Alex was doing, realized the pit lane speed limit was a little further down, and nearly put it into the outside guardrail on the way into the pit lane, but kept it off by inches.
Albert overshoots his pit box.
Nicholas Love makes the stop perfectly. And both are taking tires, though Alex's right side went up first and Nick Love's left side went up first. Wonder if that means only 2 tires for Nick Love? Sure enough, 2 tires for Nick Love. He's going to take a pass for the lead. Oh, I love to see strategy like that pay off. And Simon Foweather's going to split the middle of them on the pit exit here. So Foweather with no tires or 2 tires ahead of Alex Albert on 4, and Nick Love leading the race now with 2 left side tires. Let's see how this all pans out.
Of course, a clockwise circuit. There's more right-hand turns than left, but there's still quite a few critical left-hand turns. Carrying speed through the final corner, very important for defending and attacking. Of course, one of the key overtaking opportunities is the left-hand hairpin in the infield as well. So the recap is Love leads 1.5 seconds ahead of Foweather, then another 1.5 seconds ahead of Alex Albert. They've got a bunch of time then to Sean Saputra.
And that's just a symptom of those issues that we saw Sean having a little bit earlier in the race. He's followed by Jonathan Patterson in 5th place, an impressive showing from him, as well as Tim Traham, who I believe is a newcomer to the series. I certainly haven't seen him around, and he's putting in a solid performance today, running in 6th place currently.
Yeah, positions gained for him as well from where he started the race up to...
Correction, actually, I think Tim is in 5th place, and John Patterson is in 6th place. Yeah, I'm just getting misled by my timing screen. But Simon Foweather is quickly making up some ground here on Nicholas Love. And if those two get to battling, you've got to imagine that Alex Albert will be right behind him. It can be challenging to run a car for a lap or two after doing that 2-tire swap, because tire pressures and tire temperatures make such a big difference in iRacing. Maybe even a little bit too much depending on the car. So both of those guys ahead of Alex might be dealing with a mishandling car for a few laps here while their tires get up to temperature.
Yeah, this isn't really an oval, is it? So the difference between the right-hand corners and the left-hand corner is a little disconcerting. I've never personally driven a car like that, but I've driven a couple go-karts like that, where they're very happy to take corners in one direction and not in the other, and that is a little odd at times. It's just compressing all between the top three, though, because as Foweather starts to catch Nicholas Love ever so slightly, Alex Albert is catching the both of them. Might all form up into a very interesting lead battle between Love, Foweather, and Albert.
Absolutely, and I'm just looking at the historics, who as Love runs a little bit wider line that time. But anyway, I'm looking at the historical data on our timing screens. All three of them have a best lap within 1/10 of each other. 45.614 for Love, 45.611 for Foweather, and 45.693 for Alex. Of course, Alex has gone and run a lap nearly a second faster than Nicholas Love's last one by.
Yeah, Love might need to just calm it down a little bit. I'm not aware that the new tires are worth a great deal, except for the fact that they're not, overheated, overpressured, ballooned. You can deal with that on the old tires, so long as you don't overdrive the car, so long as you're a little more gentle with the steering rather than scrubbing the fronts across the road through the middle of the corners and on the exits of the corners as well. It just takes 1 lap, 2 laps to let the tires breathe a little bit. We'll be in a good position to defend, and then time will eventually run out, because this is not the easiest track to pass at. In fact, I think VIR North looks like a cakewalk compared to trying to make a pass stick here if your opponent is calm and not making mistakes and not overdriving the car.
And if they're motivated not to let you by, they can really make it hard on you. It costs you a lot of time. Foweather rides a little bit wild on the rear end through that last set of corners. But he takes this tighter line, and Nicholas Love really likes to run it quite wide. Misses the apex that time. And that's giving Foweather a chance to take a look. Though Love's going to get the better run, and Alex is going to put 2 tires off and make sure of it.
As he's done in a couple places, a couple of laps. Here is Simon Foweather with the look down the inside at Nicholas Love for the lead. Love doesn't want to give that up, and that gives him the inside for the much longer right-hander. It's a good defensive move to just hold his own, hold his ground. Simon Foweather cannot wrestle the race lead away from him, and it brings Alex Albert right into the picture as well. Foweather and Albert battle like this, then that becomes good news for Nick Love. Albert's going to try to steam around the outside. It's very rare that move quite works. He's just going to keep his nose around the outside of Foweather. Is he going to force his way down the inside then at the next sequence of corners? This is very risky between the two. We're near leaning on each other, but in the end, Albert gets into second place.
Oof. And Alex Albert showed some pace on that last lap again, using those tires to great effect. Manages to secure that position.
It was grip, it was guts, and now he's got to put his sights forward once again at Nicholas Love, who of our 3 in the podium positions does seem to be the one most at threat, most struggling.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting to note, Nicholas Love has had the slowest lap times on these last 3 laps. Simon Foweather, second fastest, and Alex Albert fastest out of the top 3. And Foweather took right side tires, Love took left side tires. You got to wonder, maybe Foweather made the better gamble out of the 2 of them, but Alex Albert seems to be benefiting the most of them all. About 8 laps to go, 13 minutes as they cross the line.
Huge dive towards turn 1 from Alex Albert nearly results in contact between himself and Nick Love, and now there's contact between him and Simon Foweather. I think just a glancing blow there. Both of them will be able to carry on, I hope. But it just goes to show exactly how close all the margins are between our top 3 here.
Well, it's just two slightly different lines, that wide track coming into play. And yeah, Fairweather and Alex are lucky to escape with just a little scuff on the bumper.
Probably made a bigger noise than it made actual damage between the two of them.
And I'm not sure, does this car have the new sound model? Maybe not. Either way, these guys are flying over the bumps in turn number 7.
Love's going to use all
place
the
that we saw a
track.
mistake from Alex. Go on out.
Attempt at defense. Nicholas Love uses all the circuit. Alex Albert is sniffing right at him. You can't make a pass here, but you can only try to trick your opponent into overdriving. And Albert's just got so much more front grip, so much more turn in to get the nose underneath here.
Of course, Alex Albert doesn't have the information that we do about which side tires were taken necessarily. So he might not know that right-handers are a bad place to try and take on those left side tires. But he had a real good line into turn 1 last time by. Let's see if he can do something with it. Ooh, and a tag in the braking zone. Pushes Nick Love wide, 2 tires on the grass. But now they're heading into another right-hander. And, well, Nick Love should have his advantage. And Fairweather gives Alex a shunt. Wow. Opens the door like a can opener and takes that position back.
Yeah, touchy between second and third there, Fairweather using the muscle to get back into second, but I think the move was on there. I think Albert was a bit wide. Fairweather didn't just barge in there. He sort of signaled he was going to do it. He was in the middle there, and then just a little bit of contact there. Again, hopefully no damage for either, but they touch once again. So we'll see if that continues to escalate or if tensions will cool down a little bit in the final 10 minutes.
I'm excited to see how this plays out. Alex Albert is a guy that's not easy to rattle, but I bet you he's rattled after that one. And I'd be mad if that happened in my real car. In virtual cars, we can excuse a little bit more, but I'm not sure Alex Albert will forgive that one with a now bent fender on the right corner.
It's got so much more mid-corner front bite. Over the hill, he gets to the inside, gets underneath Simon Fairweather in a place that typically you would not call an overtaking position, and they trade a little bit more paint once again.
No, I don't think there was contact, but Alex certainly said you're not welcome on the outside here, and put 2 tires of Fairweather's into the grass that time as he lines up Nick Love into turn number 1 here. What a difference all that makes.
Right, and Albert really should have the speed to be able to pass Nicholas Love. He should have the fresher tyres, particularly at the front, where you really need it to carry the speed through the middle of the corners to compensate for maybe the lack of power in this car. The kerfuffle back and forth between himself and Simon Fairweather has cost him valuable laps. May have cost him valuable straight line speed if that imprint on the right front fender is costing him speed.
I think he might have gotten away with it. His right quarter panel, just in front of the door, seems to be the part that got hit. So it's the front bumper still looks pretty clean from what I was able to tell. The front bumper, of course, more critical for that drag. Now I'm watching battle here in 7th, 8th, and 9th. Corey Barrett and Jonathan Patterson, along with Jay Sufinak, who's lurking right behind them, have been very tight for the last few laps. And we'll join in with them and see if there's anything to be had here, any positions to be gained. Patterson started in 8th, still running 8th. Would love to gain a position the way that both Corey and Jay have, both of them up 3 positions from where they started at the start of this race. Unfortunately for us, it kind of looks like more exciting stuff's happening at front.
Yeah, at the front here, Alex Albert tried to get his nose down the inside at turn 1, but once again, Nicholas Love knows if he just holds his ground around the outside of turn 1, refuses to give up on it, that then becomes the inside for the much longer sequence of right-handers where you can gain it all back.
I'm not sure what that's from, but big clouds of smoke down that straightaway.
Has done is give Simon Foweather just a little bit of opportunity to get back towards first and second as well. Best efforts from Alex Albert have yet to be rewarded in grabbing the race lead. Nicholas Love, has he even led many consecutive laps this season? I don't think he's got a race win yet, but he's in a very, very good position. And he's been defending, I have to say, immaculately.
Yeah, I'm almost certain. I'll go check the stats, but I'm almost certain he doesn't have a race win. But I don't know if he's got any laps left.
Creative lines from Alex Albert, trying to really go wide to then sweep back through the corner. Get as much speed as possible through the final corner. That's 2 tyres off. The other 2 stay on the circuit and the exit of final corner then towards turn 1. He's nowhere near as close as he's been on maybe some other occasions, but he's no stranger to getting deep on the brakes there, and he always closes a car length or 2. If he's not alongside, then there's no way he can force his way around at turn 1. Might have to be a big dive here towards the hairpin. I'm sure he's thinking about it. Even looks like Nicholas Love is thinking about covering it off, should it appear like the move is on.
Well, and if I'm Alex Albert, I'm also keeping an eye in my rearview mirror, and Simon Foweather just keeps getting brighter and brighter behind him, fully in the darkness now at this Barber Motorsports track, and about 3 laps to go.
Still a hint of light at the horizon, but none of it hitting the track. You're right, quite dark. Were it not for the train of 3 cars at the front, all with their headlights fully ablaze. Nick Love just can't be tricked.
I was just really enjoying that onboard shot with Alex Albert there. You can really tell how much these cars are understeering at this point in the race. He had the wheel fully 120 degrees to the right at the bottom of the S's there, trying to get the front end to stick on these things. These guys are not treating those tires with any respect at this point.
No, tell them they've only got 10 miles left to go. And after that, they can be done. Albert looking for the inside there, looking to use that grip to cross back underneath, but the door was closed. Gives him a good exit. Here, what's Love going to do? He's had great success defending the outside.
I'm not sure Alex is going to give him a choice.
That's the perfect placement from Love, just to make it impossible for Albert to get around how he would like.
I'm watching this battle for 6, 7, 8 again, and 7, 8, 9, and Corey Barrett's just making a move on Jonathan Patterson here up the inside of turn number 14. These guys are real tight, have been for a few laps now. Clean move by Corey. But John Patterson gets to move back inside, and they make contact. Corey's off the track, Patterson's off the track. No more contact, and Jay Sofianek's going to be the winner in all of that, along with Chris Nicely, who we haven't heard from in a little bit. Back to the front.
Where they've been side by side for a couple corners, we've had our eyes on it. Alex Albert got down the inside. Nick Love didn't give up on it, and now they're side by side and make just a little bit of contact in the dark. Down the back straight, and Simon Foweather's going to get a piece of the action as well. Alex Albert's got the lead now. It's going to be tough for either of these guys to get it back from them. A little bit of a rub between Love and Foweather, but both of them keep their cars pointing the right way. Love keeps himself in second. Wow, great little turn of events. This battle's not over for second, but Albert is trying to get away in the lead. He's definitely got the fresher tyres of all. He's forward down to the inside on Love.
Ooh, and things are hot everywhere. Patterson and Barrett are 9th and 10th now. They're battling very tightly. And, oh, what's that? Tim Trahan has just made a move on Sean Saputra for 4th place. So nothing settled here.
Around the outside of turn 1 goes Simon Fairweather. Now, looks to almost seal 2nd place for him as he parks it in front of Love. And now Alex Albert with a 1.5 second lead ahead of the squabbling duo behind.
Yeah, and we'll see. We got Corey Barrett and John Patterson still locked together, and they've gone off the track. More contact between the two of them. It's a good thing they're not in the real pits together, because I don't think either of these guys would be happy with each other with the way the last 2 laps of this race has gone.
At each other's throats once again. Bit of panel damage for both cars through the final corner. Corey Barrett takes the wide approach. He's not as close as he'd like to be.
Well, Tim Trahan and Sean Saputra are pretty tight. Might be our tightest battle left at the moment, other than John and Corey, of course. But Tim just was able to get Sean Saputra through this section on the last lap because Sean ran a little bit wide on the exit. But we'll see, because I think Sean had been getting a better run than Tim prior to that by taking that little bit of extra risk. So let's see if he's got anything for Tim as they head into the final section here. Coming to the white flag.
Yep, your leader Alex Albert starts the final lap. And about 1:50 seconds. Checkered flag will wave for him so long as he can stay ahead of Nick Love and Simon Fairweather, who still want to battle over 2nd. Sean Saputra from 5th. Emergency last-minute pit stop. He must have short-fueled that thing. That's going to cost him at least 1 position, even this late in the race.
I think it's going to cost him 3 or 4, unfortunately for him. Corey Barrett's managed to find his way back around John Patterson. I think it was through the S's. I believe John Patterson had another slowdown. Action everywhere in the closing stages. Nicholas Love and Simon Fairweather are still glued together. We'll see if Fairweather has a move for Nicholas Love here.
Yeah, just to keep our eyes on the top 3, and that's a bit wide, bit deep from Love. Simon Fairweather is going to have another dig at him. Is that even, in fact, a slowdown? We've seen it's possible to get one on the last lap. Slowdown for Nicholas Love is going to drop him back into 3rd place. Or actually, he's out of fuel like his teammate Sean Saputra.
Oh, no. And the extra fuel saving was for not pushed it a little too hard to try and get the lead. And this is the highest part of the track.
Yeah, through the final sector of the lap, though, comes Alex Albert, your race leader. 2 corners to go. Barney waved the green flag over 60 minutes ago, and now he's preparing the checkered flag for your winner, Alex Albert, through the final corner to the line. Once again, your back-to-back champion.
Albert's on the fuel. Oh, he managed that perfectly. I don't know if he was shaking in celebration or if he was out of fuel, but he gave up a lot of time to Simon Fairweather on that last straight. Great race. Tim Trahan's trying to get a spot back from Nicholas Love here, but Love's going to have just enough to coast across the line. Trahan holds the spot. Sean Saputra looks like he's out of fuel again. Oh my gosh, on the back straight. And heartbreak for that Love Racing team tonight. Yeah, and they got to buy the crew chief a new calculator after that race.
Maybe it's the accountant just being too frivolous, too cheap with the fuel.
Chris nicely managed to grab a spot there, I believe, from Sean Saputra. Yeah, sure enough. And Corey Barrett has benefited from John Patterson running a little bit wide on the final corner, taking that spot back, and he's going to finish in 8th place. And John Patterson just ran wide on the X of that final corner, spun the tire, and spun it around.
All sorts of weird things happening on the final lap. I think I've also seen Justin Hall take a position away from Aaron Thorpe for 11th there. So, my goodness, is it just never over until it's over in this kind of endurance racing?
Oh wow! And yeah, I think Justin Hall benefited from Aaron Thorpe running out of fuel too. Jeez Louise. Well, you can't say they didn't try to put on a show for you.
No, absolutely not. With all of that, let's get the results. And your winner. Didn't look like it was necessarily going to be the case for the longest time there. Alex Albert grabs the prizes. And Simon Foweather finishes second, just behind him. Close in the end there. Nick Love and Tim Trahan, a good result there in 4th. Jacob Hiller in 5th. Big moves from 12th on the grid for Jay Safiniak to finish 6th. Chris Knisley in 7th. Did manage to recover pretty well, I think, from that early pit stop. A little bit cleaner after the mishaps of the early stint. Corey Barrett finishes 8th. Scott Grinnell in 9th. Jonathan Patterson in 10th. Justin Hall for 11th. Aaron Thorpe in 12th. Kevin Robinson in 13th. Jeff Pritchard 14th. Clinton Ford 15th. And Sean Saputra, double pit stop, light on fuel, 16th place. For him, regrettably, drops quite a lot from where he started the race. Neil Hancock in 17th. Andrew Kosick in 18th. And then it's Charles Kowalczyk, David Palermo, Greg Vandevert, Rob Craig, Rachel Kosick, Danny Robertson, David Warden rounds out our field from round 15 of the ChampCar iRacing series. Let's see. Grab some interviews. Let's go Nick Love first. We'll start with 3rd place, and I think this made a very, very interesting race. It was anyone's game in the top 5 for quite a bit there. Nick Love, do we have you?
Yep, I'm here.
What did you make of all of that? Fuel dramas, different tires in the top 5, and no one had any breathing room at the lead all hour.
Yeah, that was me relying on the crew chief for fuel, but just with all the drafting on that first stint before the pit, I knew it was going to be really tight. I was just hoping to, kind of slow Alex and Simon down a bit and have a shot at the end there, but just ran out just a bit too early.
Plans for the future to get the pit crew something that measures in finer increments than whole gallons?
Probably a good idea. I thought about letting Simon pass early and then just trying to stay behind him and stay with the leaders, but that chose the wrong strategy there.
Track position certainly did look valuable at points, so I can see why it's something you'd not want to give away. Still, mixed feelings. Podium's a good result, but the win must have been tantalizingly within your reach.
Yeah, I was within sight. That was the first one that I could see myself getting there. But Alex, he's always so fast and consistent, so I knew it was gonna be a tough one.
What's plans for Love Racing 2020, 2021? Anything to share with the people?
Yes, we've got 2 cars gonna be racing ChampCar in 2021, maybe possibly 3 cars. So 2 in Texas and 1 here in South Carolina. So just trying to expand and hopefully hit quite a few races.
Well, wherever the people are, I'm sure they're going to see plenty of you in 2021. Best of luck. Thanks for sharing your time with us, giving us your opinion. Congratulations again, 3rd place. Any final thanks?
Sean Saputri is running our social media. He's gonna kill me if I don't say this, but Love Racing USA is our Instagram now, and he's wanted me to shout that out.
Mission achieved. See you for the final round in not too long, hopefully.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate what you're doing. See you.
Nicholas Love, third place. Let's go then up the totem pole to Simon Foweather, our second place finisher, who is with Devin Peters.
Hey, guys.
Hey there, Simon. Looked like a very exciting race there towards the end. In the final lap there, or the final last couple laps, did you think you had anything for second place?
I didn't think I was going to get second in the end. I was out of tires. I didn't change tires at the pit stop. It was a bit of a gamble, but it seemed to mostly pay off. But I know Alex had a little bit more grip around turn 15, which made it difficult for me to overtake at that point. But it was a great race between Alex and Nicholas.
Looked like it was a great race for you too. That beautiful STP car. And any hard feelings between you and Alex after that contact in the middle of or towards the end of the race there?
I think we contacted each other probably 3 or 4 times the last few laps. And I know Alex and Nicholas had a bump here and there, but nothing. It was just a little nudge, nothing major. So we're good.
That's good to hear. When I saw you two in the waiting room together, I wasn't sure if it was going to be polite words or angry words.
Well, I think if Alex had lost, it might have been different, but he was fine with it.
Great job there. Are you racing with any teams in the Real ChampCar series these days?
Yeah, I kind of move around a little bit these days, but the last race was with Turn-In Motorsports up at Road America. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do Barber. It's my home track, but I'm not sure if I can do it still at this point. But hopefully, if I can, I'll see if I can find a seat.
Well, it certainly showed that it was your home track today. Fastest lap of the race, second place, no regrets.
Yep, no, it was a good day. And I just I'm not sure if I'll make the podium again, but if I don't, I just want to thank yourself and David for what you've done this year. It's been fantastic for everyone. And I know all of us appreciate it, making it through the hard year.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Any sponsors you want to shout out, or any thanks you want to give?
I thank my wife for letting me do this stuff, and that's about it, I guess. But I appreciate you guys, appreciate ChampCar and HJ for putting on a great show.
Well, thank you for putting on a great show today.
All right, cheers then.
Cheers.
Well, that leaves us just one last driver to speak with. He's with us already. Alex, we could probably be forgiven for being sick of speaking with you after some of these races, but in this case today, for a long time, wasn't certain you were going to be on the top there.
Yeah, this was one of the closest battles we've had all season. It was a lot of fun out there. At the beginning, just tried to work with my teammate Justin to build a bit of a gap over the Love Racing boys, Sean and Nicholas. We just weren't able to quite get away. The lack of the horsepower in the Pontiac just made it really tough, and the gaps were super tight. So as they got closer there, as we approached the midway, made a bit of a move on Justin, started to build a bit of a gap there, and then made a mistake, ran wide into the museum turn. Took a bit of a slowdown, and then ended up losing 2 positions, fell back to third. Just tried to keep it clean from then on. Justin pit a little bit earlier, right around the midway mark. We had enough gas to go closer to 2/3 and stayed out. Went ahead and took tires. I knew it was going to take a bit longer, but I noticed I made up a bit of time on Nicholas on the pit entry, so I thought that might negate the advantage, but then I saw him leave the pits ahead of us, so got a bit scared. I cut off the fuel a little bit early and was actually very close. I don't know if you guys noticed, I was swerving coming to the line because it sputtered off the last corner. Just barely made it there on gas, but it was a great race. Had a lot of fun battling Nick and Simon there in the final laps. Yeah, good. It was a lot of fun. Good to see some new names on the podium, and glad to get another win.
There's a few drivers who are going to be having some stern words with their crew chief after this one. Why so many people struggling with fuel at the end?
I'm not sure. I guess maybe just the pace picked up a little bit there at the end. In the beginning, whenever I was riding along in second, I was able to lift a lot into the corners, and I guess I was just burning less gas. I know how important pit stops and how much fuel you take, how important that is in this series. So admittedly, I cut it very, very close, and it was almost too close, one would argue. And so, yeah, I guess the other guys have just, it's just like racing, right? They start to figure out what the guys that are winning the races are doing, and people have caught on that how much gas you take is very important. And I think everyone was just cutting it close, because like I mentioned, the car doesn't have much horsepower. It's really, really hard to pass around this track. It's short straightaways, very tight corners, and even if you get a good run on a guy, something like out of the last corner, it takes until almost the end of the straightaway until you can close that 10th of a second, to get your nose inside of him. And, by that point, it's just not worth the risk a lot of times. So you almost have to wait on the car in front to make a mistake or, really send it up the inside. So it's just, I think it was just a combination of all those factors, tight track, low horsepower car, and everyone just cutting it very close because of the margins.
Alex, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm actually going to be making my debut with the Pinkies Out team. They're one of the front-running teams in the ChampCar Endurance Series, so definitely looking forward to that. Super stoked about it. Going to be at VIR North this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and looking to help Chris Huggins and all his normal drivers get another good finish, get them up there in the points, get them well qualified for the championship next year.
Sounds exciting. Wishing you the best of luck. At this point, we can once again safely say I think you've wrapped up this championship. Final round, 16th of December, the Mazda NC Cup Miata from Laguna Seca. You going to let someone else win a race this season?
I thought about letting Justin win tonight, but then he had to go and crash. So, I guess we'll just have to see how it shakes out next week or in a couple weeks. Laguna Seca is a lot of fun. It wasn't always one of my favorite tracks, but here lately I've really started to enjoy it now that I'm getting better at it. And, I'd like to make a trip out west here in the next year or so and try it out for real in the ChampCar Endurance Series.
Get in quick. We don't know how much longer it's going to be there.
Yeah, that's my goal is, we'll see how this weekend goes. And, maybe a picture of me holding a trophy will help convince a West Coast car owner to give me a chance.
Well, congratulations once again. You are today's lucky winner. And must be said, with 5 or 6 drivers in with a chance for the win, luck maybe played a little bit of a role. Alex, any parting words here today?
I just want to thank all the competitors. We had a good turnout this week. Lots of close racing at the front. I know we're getting towards the end of the season, and people are getting busy around the holidays. Appreciate everyone coming out. Appreciate everyone tuning in, and most importantly, the support that the ChampCar series provides with their generous prizes. I think that's probably a large reason to why we have such good fields. Also want to say thanks to you guys at the Huge Ass Broadcasting Company. So, and while I'm at it, I'd like to give a shout out to Kathy at Chester Muffler and Brake. She's our longest time sponsor. She helped me out again this week, got me out of a little bit of a bind. So I doubt you're watching, Kathy, but if you are, thanks again.
There we go. Our podium positions from today's race at Barber Motorsports Park, and how interesting it was. A bit of contact, bit of strategy, bit of heart in mouth stuff right at the end. Thank you so much to our competitors, to ChampCar, who help us put this championship on and award some very, very generous prizes as well. I've been David Haynes. Michael Derby has been our producer, and it's been Devin Peters alongside me. Until next round and our championship finale at Laguna Seca, stay well and good night.